Okay, everybody better come back. Here's Melissa. Hi, Melissa. No volume. Oh, I know where you are. Hello again. Hope Melody here. Hope
Glad I'm
Melody.
not the only one.
What?
Glad I'm not the only one. That's all I'm going to say.
You're not.
So, hello.
We lose Melody?
She should come back. I'll email. I'm not sure she was there. She probably wondered what happened.
Well, she should try again.
It's chilly.
Not
Did you
here.
ski today?
Oh, that's nice. I've been skiing so much. I'm so tired.
How are the conditions today?
Not as good as yesterday.
Yeah,
You
had a
know,
pretty good Sunday. There's a lot of water out there.
yes.
Yeah, and it sticks to the bottom of your ski. I kept waxing and waxing to keep it from sticking, and it just wouldn't help.
I know this is a real problem.
Yeah, it wasn't enough snow. That's the problem.
Well, no, I was talking to Bud Kellogg and said, you know, where's the grooming of the trails?
Ah,
Oh well. No,
it was nice to be out.
I'm exhausted.
I just got a partial email from Melody. Has anybody else received that?
Well, it looks like she's on.
No,
She said that, oh, here she comes.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just letting you guys know for the near future, I'm not going to be using my camera on Zoom. I've been having some health related issues to the amount of time I'm spending on Zoom with my work. So I figure for my volunteer activities, you'll be understanding.
We'll miss you.
Yeah.
But
I'm still here. You just won't see me. So I'll be a little disembodied.
Okay, well, whatever works for you. We hope you start feeling better soon.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, so we call this meeting to order. Are we all here?
Sounds good.
Yes. It is 6:34.
6:34 it is.
All right.
I didn't start minutes for this meeting yet. So
Uh-oh.
what's, today's February 28th. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
What time did we come to order?
6:34.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, good. First thing, did people have a chance to review the minutes for December 16th as well as January 27th? Thank you, George, by the way, for the minutes.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So December 16th, does
December,
anybody have those
yeah.
in front of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I made an edit to it. And basically what I wrote, what it says now is Personnel Board voted that it's policy to fund the FY23 budget at the appropriate number of hours for non-benefit employees. That conversation was at about an hour into our meeting, an hour and 8 minutes into our meeting. And at some point, we, in the middle of a conversation, decided that we as a committee want to make sure that we budget for the appropriate number of hours in all salary lines. And so we decided to state it as policy in these minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that little edit that I made, I think it's a couple weeks since I did this. I put in its policy. And basically that's why we were a little confused about that sentence when I put in that it's our policy and we were just voting on that. It changes it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So,
okay, so when you have, go ahead, George.
no, that's it.
Okay, so that I had to have a question about that, but it was only it is its policy. It is the policy of the board,
Yes.
something like that. Why don't you say personnel board voted that it is the policy of the board to fund You see that? It just sort of makes
I
it
do.
clearer.
Okay, the personnel board voted that it's the policy of the board.
That it is the board's policy or that it is the policy of the board. I just didn't get the it's.
Yeah, it looks funny because the its are spelled differently too.
Yeah,
Personnel board voted that it's the board's policy to fund FY23 budget, blah, blah, blah.
right.
Okay,
That-
you got it.
that makes
That's what it says.
Thank you, thank you. Did anybody else have any questions on any changes to the minutes?
No.
Okay. All right, so all
Make a
those,
motion that we approve the minutes as amended.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
second, Ross, second. Okay, and moving
Well,
on
we
to,
got to vote.
what, did we get everybody voting?
No.
Did we vote?
Not yet.
Oh,
Aranitis, aye.
Big piece O'Neill, aye.
Ross, aye.
Stein, aye.
Chartier abstain.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Okay, moving on to January 27th minutes. Okay, this light is weird. Is that, maybe that's better.
Oh, it is better, Peg.
What, Becky?
It is better. The reflection used to
Okay.
be across the whole screen. Now it's only that.
That's much better.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Any revisions to the minutes, George's minutes of January 27th, 2022?
Yeah, I have one I want to point out to everyone. So when you scroll down, where should we be? D, under 3, bullet items in D. Need to pay market value, need to pay market to attract quality job applicants. We need to pay market for replacements. I put in, I changed it today when I read it again. I just put in brackets behind replacements, retirements, or also retirements. I want to make reference to the fact that at least 2 people on our analysis have commented in finance committee meetings that they plan on retiring.
What?
Yes.
The tax collector and the, oh, how come I can't remember the other one? The tax collector and
Highway
the,
superintendent?
actually, no, the highway superintendent did though. You're right. That's another one. No, the accountant.
Well, she's
She mentioned in her
retiring
meeting that
from-
she was also thinking about retiring in the not too distant future.
but not from Shutesbury. She's retiring officially in May from Orange.
But she did make reference to the possibility of even retiring from Shutesbury, at some point. She just made a comment that I am approaching retirement. It's what I thought I heard. I did know that, Becky,
She's
but I thought,
promised us a number of years beyond,
okay, well, that's good.
because her husband's not retiring yet.
Well, that's good to hear, quite honestly.
What about the town treasurer? What did you say she's retiring this, she's,
The accountant.
The-
The
Yeah, not the
town
treasurer, the
accountant.
tax collector. talked
tax
about
collector,
retirement.
sorry, tax collector. She is thinking of retiring this year?
No,
Oh, okay.
No, but they just mentioned it. The reason I just wanted to have a reference to the fact that we have some people who are approaching retirement age. Maybe I shouldn't put it in there.
well, actually, George, you're right, but because both of them are beyond retirement age. I mean, yeah, because the accountant is right at it, but she's chosen to keep Shutesbury
Oh, okay.
and Pelham for now until they find the, until they make their decision where they're gonna go next.
Okay.
Okay, so I basically just put in brackets that number 3, Roman numeral number 3, I put retirements in brackets at the end.
Okay.
Wait, can you repeat that again? Roman numeral number 3.
Yeah, we will need to pay market for replacements / or bracket retirements.
Okay.
I just want to kind of reinforce that that's one part of the thinking that we're having here.
Something that need to be thinking. I just had a question that I just want not to change. I just had a question about the minutes just not to change them. Up on number 1, classification schedule, item B. Becky, did we ever get permission from HR Associates to use the Amherst schedule?
I have not heard back.
Okay. And I guess that was it. Yeah. Okay, any other changes?
Nope.
Okay, so all those in favor to accept the minutes?
Charlie, no.
Pardon, what?
I'm sorry, that's me. The dog was,
Oh,
yes.
So I
Colleen.
make a motion that we approve the minutes
Yes.
as amended.
I second that motion. Ross, aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
Martier, aye. I
No, I-
mean, Steve,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Melody.
Okay,
Fletcher abstained.
Aye. Yes.
okay, in the minutes, what about Melody there?
I said I abstained.
Oh, okay, sorry, Melody.
Just nod your head.
Yeah, actually, on these minutes, I've got everybody's attending.
Wow, okay, yay for us.
Was that on the 27th? Melody was there?
Yeah.
I abstained. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I've missed the last 2 meetings, so I can't in good conscience vote to accept something that wasn't there.
Oh, then George probably should take you off
No,
as attending.
No, it knows.
I think it says absent.
Yes,
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
for both.
No, it did. I had that covered.
Okay, yep, he did.
Okay, sorry. I misunderstood you, George.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay, so moving, I don't have a copy of the agenda. Becky, you have the agenda there in front of you?
Yep. So we've got review agenda, review minutes, determine COLA FY 23 calculation is the next item.
Okay, so can I propose, we have tomorrow night's meeting.
Yep.
And in tomorrow night's meeting, we're going to talk about the COLA. So obviously that's next on our agenda. It's a good thing to talk about. And we're also going to, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're also going to be presenting tomorrow night salary adjustments to a number of positions.
Yes.
Is that what the classification schedule and salary chart update is about?
Well, we haven't completely finished the classification schedule, but the salary chart, I think that was already voted, right?
Yes. Do
So
we?
that could be presented.
Well, except that you wanted me to do additional analysis. The police sergeant, the library aides, and the library not volunteers, whatever. There was 3 positions that I had done additional analysis on.
Oh, good.
So
So
what
can
I
you
was,
do
so,
those tonight?
well, that's what I was gonna say. I should probably take the screen. I can walk you through the COLA. We can talk about it and you can all look at it at the same time. And then I can jump right to those 10 positions.
That would be perfect.
Sounds good. Oh, by
And
the
you are
way,
now a co-host.
all right. And while he's doing that, did you happen to see the town of Warwick is looking for a treasurer? Did you see the ad in the paper about maybe a week and a half ago? Salary for 20 hours a week for Warwick, which has a population of about 780, is 20,000 per year.
For which position was that? The treasurer?
Treasurer.
What is that per hour?
What was it? How much? I can do the calculation real quick.
Yeah, I can do it.
20,000 for the year. 20
That's
hours
20.
per week, it's half time.
Yeah, that's 1850 an hour, 1852.
Yeah, that's lower than we are.
Yeah.
1923.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Can you see? I just did that calculation.
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that was quick, George. Thank you.
Oh, then you can see my screen. Yeah, well, I was in Excel, so that was convenient.
It was.
So what I did was I sent this, first of all, it's the policy. I wrote the policy here first.
Mhm.
What I did was I created a template here that can be used year over year. And so I set it up so that, for each fiscal year, we update this. The policy is in black and white. And then the source is very clear. the CPI, this particular reference code, I just did a search on the CPI with that reference code. It came right up. And then I'll skip this for now. This is what I found for that reference code. So here's the real source. Here's the January indexes. And then this section here, I just put the indexes in. So what you see reported by the federal government for these years in the month of January, using the New England all urban consumers, these numbers. And so before I move on and we talk about it, I just want everybody to know this policy states that's the finance committee's responsibility. I'm on the finance committee, so I sent it to Jim Walton. And I know we talked, and the finance committee actually told them about this, and I told them what the numbers came out to. They didn't ask to look at it, but they are aware of it. So anyway, so I followed this policy. Here's the changes year to year, but our policy states that for the calculation, you never use less than 1% for a year. You never use more than 4% for a year, and you recalculate using these limits. So I've got some asterisks here showing that those 2 years are actually subject to limits. And this is what we get. This shows you what we would get if we didn't have limits. And the result is, well, that's it. So I think this is what we present to the boards tomorrow night.
George, this is just for detail, because do you think you should put next to the years that they were a pandemic year in case that there's a funny anomaly that happens in the next 3 years, or no?
Sure.
It's okay. It was just a comment. Like, I know with some of the
great
stuff that
idea.
I've been doing, I've always labeled it pandemic years in 20, 21, and 22. Just as a note in case it just ends up being such an anomaly later on for.
I think it's a
Yeah.
good idea. I mean,
Yeah.
what's a good way this is the way I'm going to do it, but
That's okay. You might want to put 2020 in there as well.
I mean, it's funny that it's not funny, but we implemented this new policy in a year where, oops, what's a better way to do this? What other character can I use? I'll go 4.
Yeah, what are you trying to?
I'm just trying to use a different reference.
Could you use a plus without using a formula, George?
Yes, thank you. My brain wasn't working well, of course. Plus is perfect.
Yes. Nice. Okay.
And I'm putting it in brackets just to differentiate, although I don't need to put it in brackets, do I? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be perfect. I should know better.
You're perfect just the way you are, George.
Yeah, thank you.
It couldn't be more perfect.
Yes. My wife would argue. Okay, so
Well,
what
that's our next
pandemic
question.
year?
Yeah, just pandemic year, and you may be COVID-19 and he says it's just, I think it's important to note that if it's an anomaly or, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Or for historical purposes, 100 years from now, they go, where did they get this crazy thing and what happened in 2020?
That's
And
right.
who were the people on the committee at that point in time?
Right? Who are those crazy people? Right. Exactly.
Let's go to the minutes and find out.
Yes.
So as you can see, again, limits, but you can see, and I know you all know this, the inflation of the last 12 months is just through the roof.
Mhm.
The employees lag, but next year, if inflation is low, they'll still have the benefit of this 4% in a year,
Right.
which
Yeah.
doesn't seem likely anyways, but
Who knows?
So we're all set to present that to the FinCom.
And select.
And select board.
and select board. Yeah, and we went over this in the last meeting, right? Everybody understands the policy.
Yep.
Okay.
That's very well written, very clear, by the way.
Yes.
And,
I'll be right
and
back.
that's what we put in our minutes. So I just lifted it from the minutes. So it's on the record in our minutes that that's the policy. But finance committee has this, you all have this. So
Select board has it.
whoever's around next year can easily take this and just do the next calculation.
Mhm.
Right. So I think this will be relatively easy to present. I think the challenge is going to be, the what are we calling the bringing salaries into line?
Equity adjustments.
The market alignment.
Nice,
Market
yes.
alignment, I like that.
Market alignment, really good.
Yeah, word alignment is really a good one. All right, so I emailed this to everybody after our last meeting,
Mhm.
and it's a little too large.
A little too what?
Can you see? Well, I'm just going to shrink it a little so I can fit all the positions on one. So there's 9 positions. There's 10 positions here, but this one we're not including. So there's 9 positions here that we had done this analysis and decided that they need a bump. And that's what we're going to recommend tomorrow in our alignment request.
Yep.
I took this schedule, the base schedule, and I added library aides and a library subs. And when I was done, if you look over in column M here, L here, you'll see that the local averages are actually below what we're paying. The median is also below what we're paying. So I don't think we need to address those.
No.
Question. Are that COLA adjustment, would that be added to these increases? Or would they be
Yeah.
getting these increases in lieu of a COLA?
That was-
Yes, in our last meeting, Melody, when we changed these,
Mm-hmm.
we knew that they were based on 2021 or 2022 salaries. And so we increased them all by 2.4%.
Yeah.
And like I said, Melody, we had talked about the COLA in our last meeting. I did a back of the napkin calculation for everybody real quick because we wanted to make sure that these positions weren't set for aligning with 22, but aligning with 23.
Because if we didn't do that, then we would get behind again.
Yes.
We really have to do a big correction.
Right.
Alignment, I like that.
Market alignment.
I like that a lot.
Alignment.
So that
So-
proposed plus COLA, that's what we're gonna, okay, so it's very clear, it's plus COLA, okay.
Yeah.
When did you, George, somehow I missed this. When did you email it? This is,
So I
this-
emailed this to everybody after our last meeting.
oh,
I plan on emailing a new one to you tonight.
okay, that would
I
be
will
great.
definitely email you a new one to you tonight, but we need to make a decision about the sergeant. So in our
George,
last
you're
meeting, we
fading in
decided.
and out.
Yeah, you're fading in and out. This, I
I'm sorry,
agree.
I had my hand on my mouth. I apologize. So I did these 2 positions, as we saw, not an issue. And then I did the sergeant, police sergeant, and we're paying 21.26. It looks like the median is 27.41, and the average across the local communities, the Franklin County communities, is $26.
So that
Um,
should
George,
align.
I think the union contract that we're currently under for 22, the current sergeant, who is the acting chief, was 5, I think she was step 4 or 5. So she is currently being paid $27 an hour.
So, all right, I got
was
that
what
number
showed
from,
up in 21 because she wasn't sergeant. I mean, it
Okay,
would have,
yeah.
but 21.
well, that
is
was from the
really
survey,
26.
Becky.
Say that
Yeah.
again, George. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
I
the
was gonna say
survey,
that was from the survey.
but the survey is a year behind.
Okay. Okay. So then we're fine with this position. We don't need to,
Yeah,
it's
that's,
I think that's the case. I'll send you the contract so you can look at it to be sure, but
no, you just check it. If
Yeah,
it's something
yeah.
different, let us know.
so it's, so if a new sergeant came in, they could come in at like $22 and then we potentially could have an issue. Or
okay.
$23. So oh, this is why I should be in my office. Let me see if I can get that for you to look at the range for the sergeant. I think it was 22 or 23.
Becky, let me ask you, you just mentioned that we will have to make a hiring decision for a sergeant. So
No.
at that point,
Not yet.
Well, I said if we do have a new sergeant in FY '23, because potentially the acting chief might potentially could become the chief. And that would leave vacant the sergeant position. I don't know if it would get filled next year, but
did-
we probably need to analyze it.
Yeah. And
I
then-
think she mentioned in the finance committee meeting that she thinks we need a sergeant and a chief. Did she not say that? Melody, do you remember if she said that?
I think she said it, but she didn't say eventually, not immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my memory as well.
So for now, we can't, based on that, we can't even present that tomorrow.
No.
Well, let me see if I can let me try to get access to that. The FY '23, I'm sorry, the FY '22 union wage sheet. And I can give you the spread for the current spread for the sergeant, which I don't, I talked to Ryan, who had given these numbers to FERCog, and we're gonna review it before he does it again, because the union contract has ranges. So he just took what the first number he saw.
Becky, can I help you with that? Because I had that thing up earlier today. Was it in that what we were looking at?
I'm not sure because we did that, what you had is probably the earlier one because we didn't get it
Okay.
signed yet.
All right, nope, that's fine. Okay. Just
I
trying to
would-
be helpful.
Case, but. So I'll look for that, George, as you review the others.
Okay, so I jumped to another schedule that has only the positions that we would present tomorrow.
Yep.
And so whether this one, the patrol sergeant, stays in or not remains to be seen. My question to everyone is, I don't think we want to, I think we're going to want to show this list.
The
I guess
full-
my question is, how do we present this?
Right.
And just so you know, I'm wondering, which columns do we want to keep on here and which ones don't we? And we could send them this list, or I could bring it up on the screen tomorrow.
Because people will have questions. So which one are you thinking we wouldn't need? Because it
Um,
seems, they all seem relevant.
Okay,
It's
So
going to
what
be really important to talk about the towns that we have included in our comparison and why.
okay.
Population.
I'm going to delete.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyone
Um,
needs populations, I have them.
Great.
And how we came to that.
Well, yeah, basically I did every town in Franklin County except for Greenfield, Montague, Turner's. I think those are the only two I excluded. I even picked up Sunderland.
Well, I was going to ask about Sunderland, actually. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it and I was going to take it out, but I think as a committee, we decided to keep it, so. And of course, you can see they're not all complete. I think Heath doesn't even, no, it wasn't Heath. Holly doesn't really give a lot of information. Oh, Monroe didn't give any information. So, it's sporadic, but it's the best information we have. Okay, so I'll leave this here and
I think so. I think that it would be easier to have more information than not have enough.
Yep. And people will question what the bottom line, how much is this going to add to the budget? That will be important. And lining up our talking points again. I think those were at the bottom. Where is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was planning on, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking we should put those on this schedule, right?
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say?
Well, I know we have to, actually having it up on the screen makes sense. And for emphasis. And that is what you listed on the last, what do you call it? Minutes.
Hold on. Oops. That didn't work. Let me
So
try
now
that
you-
again.
Okay.
Can you see, I'm moving over to Word. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Okay. So over here, we've got determine. Where is it? Here we go.
Right there. Yeah,
Oh, I have a question. I'm looking down at next meetings, March 1st, 2022 with FinCom and Select Board. Is that at 6 or 6:30?
I think we're at 6.
It's at 6. Okay.
It's not pasting very well. Oh, I know why. It's pasting just fine. I see what I did. Okay, hold on one second here. I gotta just fix my column heights.
Do your magic.
My road heights, yeah. It was magic. It would have worked the first time. Where am I? I got
Delayed magic. Yeah, it's
Okay,
definitely
there we go.
a clock peg.
Okay, so do we have every talking point that we need?
Well, those are the reasons we had in our minutes.
Right. Is this, let's see, so retention, attract
Here, I'll
quality
fix
of,
that.
yeah.
What'd you say, George?
Nothing, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay.
Yes. There's cost of
Oh,
turnover.
there you go. Yeah. All right, wonderful.
I'll fix the
Yeah.
alignment later.
Yep.
Is it possible maybe to add another one to this item?
Sure.
Maybe to show appreciation for their hard work,
Yeah.
or no?
I
I can
think
go either way.
my feeling on that is it's not cut and
I
dry.
can go either way. I'm not attached.
Okay. That's just my feeling. I think, the less emotional.
Okay. But it is addressing the quality of employees we have.
Yeah, that's true.
But
What
I
do other
think-
people?
but I think you're right, Peg, I mean, that can be part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come up with better language for it. Well, I was thinking like, yeah, I guess not. There isn't better language than that. I was thinking something like,
You know,
employee respect.
Yeah,
I think, are you talking about 4 saves the cost of turnover and you're thinking due to lack of appreciation or lack of respect or
no,
no?
I don't know if that's what it is. I mean, the cost, you have to for turnover, you have to, go out to, you have to hire a hiring committee, that time, all the
Mhm.
time and training. And then we would be having to offer salaries in the salary range, the competitive range.
Mhm.
But you're right, it does also talk about, that people will leave.
What do you mean by
Yes.
Roman numeral 7?
What?
What? Who said that?
Melody, could you say it again?
Oh, sorry. What is meant by Roman numeral 7?
Current job, short risk.
Oh, shortage. Oh, wait, current labor shortage? Is that
Yeah.
what I meant?
Well, particularly for municipal employees, for qualified municipal employees.
But
But I
really, it's,
A reflection of the overall fact that it's a job seekers market in general.
yes.
Right.
I mean, I think we have to recognize the pandemic and the fact that this labor shortage is due to the strange great resignation and all that.
Mhm. And we're not back on even keel yet.
So they're listed. Should I put them at the top or the bottom?
Mm,
Well, I suppose we'll leave them at the bottom and on somebody's cue, I can always roll down when it's the right time.
Well, that might be how we introduce the idea of what we're doing, that this committee came together and came up with, these are the reasons, our rationale for proposing these changes. And that they're not crazy.
George, what's your feeling being on the FinCom and Melody about these races? What is
I
your
think they're good. I think they're relevant. I think they're true. I think the more the merrier. And
Well, I think somebody raised earlier, what's the effect going to be on the bottom line? I think there will be questions about that. For
Yeah.
the budget. So I
that would
think we
be
need to
that
have
number right
We
there.
need to have that answer ready.
Okay,
Mhm.
Becky, so I don't have that number yet because this calculation here for the sergeant until, well, I can put
Okay,
it,
so I found the union page. Could I screen share for a second so we could look at that and maybe solve that?
Mhm.
stop sharing. Okay,
And then I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, see, so what I think happened, I don't think the numbers that FERCog got included our sergeant schedule, which is, the range is 2568 to 2924.
yeah, that's right there. Yeah, that's definitely okay.
Yeah, so I think we're good there.
Okay,
Those,
great.
those were increased when Dan, before he left, when he was about to lose an employee, had requested changes to both the officer and the sergeant pay, and those were voted by the select board and the finance committee back in 2019.
I remember that.
I do too. I was there then, I think. Yep,
So
that's good.
that's all
So
you
we're
need
good on
to
that.
affirm, right?
Yes.
So
that
um,
works.
if we're using FY '21 numbers, I would put in 2660 for the sergeant's position.
Okay, will do.
Okay, now I'll share your screen now. Or you share.
So that brings that number down a little bit.
2660, is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay, and so that's well in range.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that
So-
position gets the COLA.
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's right, because it's the contract.
Union, they get 3%.
Ooh.
Okay, so 9 positions. Let me just double check my math here. 9 positions. These are the proposed rates. These are the number of hours they work. I know I'm being redundant. Melody, to your question, we initially were proposing these rates, and then we decided to increase them for the COLA. And so this is the proposed column, not this column. I'm going to get rid of this formatting that I
Oh,
had.
wow.
Don't need the formatting there. This is our proposed plus COLA. So this is the column I should be bolding.
It's a substantial bump for a number.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah.
And they're people that we're most fearful of losing too,
Yes.
it appears. And if we end up, if our only option is to, yeah, it'll help us stay competitive, hopefully.
Well, with the fact that if any one of the people in those positions were to leave, we would have to pay competitive rates.
Yeah.
And so, and I think this goes back to Melissa's point that this really is showing appreciation for our, the people who, we don't want to lose them.
Right. So I'll get rid of this shading later, but and it's one of our points. One of our points was a limited pool of specialized municipal positions.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, and then in some things, like if we were to lose our assessor and hire the companies that do assessors, that would bump that position up significantly.
That's also relevant for the accountant.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that's right.
The increase to the budget is 32,353.
Yep.
So
What it is.
yes, that's right. It's made up of 2 pieces. It's made up and then
So the real bump caused by what we're doing is the 24,000. The other portion is the COLA that would have, we would have been paying anyway, right, George?
Though it would have been slightly lower because the salaries, if we weren't bumping them up, the salaries would have been less. But still, it is a smaller proportion, absolutely.
So the way I,
And I
so I'm
think it's
just gonna,
important to point out the percent of the overall budget that this represents.
yeah, it's on there actually, but I'm making a change here. What I'm thinking is,
What?
nah,
Were you checking your formulas, George?
I was gonna check, well, the total budget piece changes, 32,350 is right, 32,353. That was what we had previously. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? 24,674. All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, I do want to check my numbers. So if I take out the COLA, yeah, the problem is, this is no longer, these are,
It looked like you were checking your
I
formulas
am.
there.
I am. The problem is I built them into this. I was gonna
Yeah.
try and delete this, Melissa, and then
Yeah.
have it recalculate this, but I
Yeah, but you
built
did it on
them
your
in.
phone.
That's, don't know why I did that. Well, here's what we can do. 2757.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna do it one by one only because,
Cautionary.
yeah,
Mhm.
if any of them are different, we need to know.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. So now, so it's 2939 without the COLA.
Mhm.
And so, wait,
Wait,
29,139. I'll do it like this. So the COLA portion is 3212.
how did
So
it?
here's what I'm,
How did that change? I don't get how that changed. I mean, I know what you did.
well, the 32,353 never changed. But the
Right.
portion that is the COLA, I had that split wrong. And the reason it was split wrong was because we had other positions. We added positions and subtracted
Oh.
positions. That was an old number. It was a static number. I never really did these calculations. That's why I'm doing it now.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is proposed, and you folks decide if you want to do this or not. Right? And then this is the total.
I
Could
like
you
I
say-
like that. I think it's easier to understand.
Yes, much better.
But people need to understand it's only the COLA portion for those 9 positions. Because they might
Yes.
say all, the full COLA.
Well, everything on this page is that, but for,
Do we have that figure? What COLA is going to cost in general, not that it should change.
Change above.
better, Becky?
Yeah, thank you.
Change the word above. You have a booth. You want above.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just, yeah, down there in
And
red.
like French.
Wait,
It's a French.
French, a booth, above
Is it?
ABO. Yeah. No, you need a V in there. not a-
Yes, I know. I got it. I'm a little slow here. I'm on it. All right, let's make it a little bigger. Let's put a little space between it and the table. Okay, so there you are, April. It's less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
would it make sense to say market alignment increases to the above positions?
Yes.
Good thinking.
Yeah, no, that's,
That it's the language is so important.
for FY '23.
23. Yeah.
Yeah. And Melody, did you mean just in the header?
I meant also at the bottom where he wrote increases to the above
Yeah.
positions. Thank you.
Okay,
So market alignment increases, just to like drive that home.
And if it can go into one more place, George, and everybody, where it says down below, the purpose of these market adjustments are as follows.
Yep.
Alignment, market alignment.
This one used adjustments, but you know,
Oh, okay.
just put market in
Well-
there somewhere.
Yes.
Well, we
I
could
know
put
it's
market alignment
redundant, but it
adjustments.
helps sometimes.
This?
for-
Oh, I think it's really important that we're consistent, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This line is because I got titles set, so when we go over, we can still see what column we're in,
that's
so. Okay, so far, not bad, right?
Mhm.
Use a double underline because that's what we do in finance. Okay,
Need to, back to the purpose down below, the purpose of these market alignments. The second one, the need to pay market, you want to pay the market, you want to pay, need to pay market,
value,
yeah. That's better.
And the header should be changed, George. The purpose of these market alignment adjustments or increases. Saying these market alignment is a little bit unclear.
purpose of the market alignment increase
Yeah,
is like that.
Yeah,
perfect.
this is really helpful.
So tomorrow, when we bring this on the screen, then here's what we're getting paid. Here's how many hours they work. Here's the proposed COLA. I'm sorry, the proposed market alignment. Well, proposed salary rate. Here's the COLA piece. Here's our original proposition plus the COLA piece. There's the increase, as you said. Wow,
It's a lot.
some of these are a lot, but I mean, the
We
town
have-
clerk. That's a
We've been underpaying people for too long.
When's the last time that we did this type of a study?
Oh,
Um,
gosh. Yeah.
I think it was in 2013.
It was before I was on the select board, I think.
I was
Yeah.
going to say 2012, but I'm not sure about that, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would actually be good to note. You know, it's been 10 years since we have done this.
And maybe we make it a policy to do it every couple of years, just to make sure we're
Or every
Like
I would-
5 years.
4 years.
Is we're
I don't
not
know
gonna-
what the routine is.
I think if we say every 5 years, we have a shot.
Okay, every 5. Okay. I don't know what the routine is.
I don't think we have to decide that tonight, but we should
no.
be talking about it.
Yes.
Well, we might want guidance from the select board on that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe it could be part of our discussion tomorrow.
Yeah,
Do you want me to make that a bullet item? Last study was done,
yes. The last alignment was done a decade ago.
pretty much.
Market alignment.
Market alignment.
Market alignment.
Get it right.
right back.
And this is really based in reality. I mean, we looked at the market and what is being paid for people across the county. It's not coming out of nowhere.
And we're studying a county that's the most impoverished county in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't go for the Amherst, Hampshire County.
Actually, it'd be interesting to see what people make for comparable towns in Hampshire County.
Becky, oh, was it 13? Whoever said it?
I think it was 13. It could have been 12, like Peg said, but I will
Well,
I
if you
check
think,
it out and tell you tomorrow.
yeah, I can change this. If I'm presenting tomorrow, I'll have this updated.
Okay.
Okay, so again, we'll show them how it breaks down between the COLA and the base, the increase by percentage, the annual budget impact, and the total budget impact broken out into those components. This one here, target local average budget increase.
Ah,
Do we want to show that? I don't think it's meaningful.
I was just gonna say that, that's one less. Target, I'm not even sure, target local average budget increase.
How does it relate to what we're actually doing? It's,
was that just what the percent increase for that line item would be? Was that what that was?
So it looks like the formula takes the difference between the average and what we're paying and it multiplies it times the hours. Oh, so it take,
So that's
So-
the actual amount increase for each line.
that would be the increase if we went to the average as opposed to what we put in was an increase of this. So if this person was paid the Franklin County average, that's the increase we would give that person annually. But we're recommending 2,551.
I think it's
So-
worth keeping in.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep it in.
I
This
agree.
is what the increase would be if we use this rate in this.
And what
group.
was that total, George?
I don't have the total of that, but I can certainly get you one.
It's just because it shows we were going conservative.
Yes.
Carrie,
I'm trying to think the best way to do it. The total would be 39,533. We can make a footnote out of that.
Okay. Did you include the last cell in that? It looked like the last cell was not included.
Now something's not right. Oh yeah, this time it was the first cell.
it's hard to do when people are watching.
No, it's okay. That's just me. 39,533. Happy fingers. 39,533. And
Okay.
that's for the 9 positions.
So
What
we
about the
39.
accountant? Don't forget the accountant up there too. It didn't,
Yeah, he got it.
oh, okay.
It just looks pink.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
My memory's not so good. Okay. So, total budget increase would be
39,533.
Does that include the COLA?
no, but
So we can
Um,
compare the 29 to the 39.
well, the budget would increase by 39 before COLA
Before COVID.
if increases matched, I'll use that word for now, matched the average rate for each position. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Well, and you'll get a chance to read it here. Just let me spell check it.
Yeah, budget is wrong.
I love spell checker, except it
Position, position at the end.
Got
The word, the spelling at the end of that.
yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Like that. Total
Could
budget
we
increase.
add,
Yes.
could we add, comma instead of the 29 proposed? $139.
Of course, that'll confuse people. But what are you going to do? We can explain it. Yeah, that I totally agree with that.
Excellent.
And that means the COLA would be over $3,200. So then now we're talking 40, 43, 44, 34.
So
30.
it's, so recognizing, the needs of our town, we're really trying to balance this. And so we compromised.
Yep.
Now, so is this okay down here? I can put it in the top. I can also collapse it and open it when we want to look at it and close it when we don't,
Mhm.
instead of having it down here at the bottom.
I like the idea of having it up above.
All right, give me one second.
But
So,
what do other people think?
well, let me show you what it would look like.
Okay.
So what I would do is
I like
create a
this.
group. Yeah, and what I like to do in situations like this is I'll actually go to data group.
I know, me too.
and I can hide it. I'll open it. We'll talk about it. And when we're done, then I'll just shrink it
Great.
and show this to everybody.
I like
I think
that.
that's the way I like to do things myself.
This looks very clean.
Mm-hmm.
I like the rephrasing it as market alignment. I think that's very smart. And then these bullet points really say it. And there will be pushback. There should be pushback. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah, no, one thing for sure is we always have debates about all kinds of stuff. So,
But
Yeah.
I think this is better because it has some sources and data. It's not just throwing numbers around. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're
Yeah.
using some formula of basis, right?
Yeah.
It just feels like we're coming at it at a different angle
And that we
than
looked at
than past meetings.
and we studied it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
And
We
we-
took a moment to study it before. Right.
Actually, it took a year.
True.
it shows that we were very thoughtful.
Yeah.
It does it. And in the past meetings where we all just sat down and started throwing numbers out and voting on whatever was tossed out into the middle of the room. You know, this just feels better.
This looks official.
It
Okay, so we're
does.
not done.
Thank you, George. We're not?
No. So one thing here is we do have this bullet, so we're kind of giving away. So we're going to be telling them as we present this, here's what we're proposing. We're proposing a market alignment for a number of positions, and here's why, right? That's how we're going to start the presentation.
Yep.
So basically, at that point, we're going to reveal that the budget increase would be 39,533. Oh no, we're not. We're revealing that it's really 32,353. So we're kind of giving them a clue with this last bullet what we're up to. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay. And instead is misspelled in that line.
This line?
The
Oh, yeah,
last line.
yeah, at the end. EAD.
Yep, got it here. I'm okay. Good
Perfect.
catch. Okay, this average state, Becky had gotten some salary information that we ended up not using, so we don't need this column.
Right. Because we didn't have it for everyone.
In a lot of the Franklin County, yeah,
And
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the average local, Franklin County, and I guess we don't need to, let me say that, Franklin County.
Yeah.
It's good to say that. Yeah.
And then they'll know the rest. The average without the highs and the lows. Here's the median. I could even put Franklin County across the top, but I won't. Lowest, highest, and then
Yeah.
we've got the towns if people want to look at them.
Yep.
And what were the two towns you eliminated? You said two?
Greenfield and Montague.
Uh-huh.
And why is that?
I'm sorry,
Why is that, George?
different sizes. They're cities.
And their fee
Populations are-
structures are much higher.
All these towns, Melody, are within the same population range as ours.
Okay.
Almost every single one. I think Sunderland's a little bigger. Shelburne?
It might
Shelburne's
be.
almost the same size as we are.
Is it?
Yeah,
Are
okay.
they? Okay.
George, do you think it's helpful to add the population numbers underneath the names? Because I have them all. If you'd like them, I can send them to you.
Yeah, Melissa just
That's up to
copied them.
committee.
Yeah, I'm just offering that out if, or I can have them on hand if anyone asks, I can look it up.
Yeah, I think that'd be better. I think
Okay.
I think
That's
too many numbers might be.
Yeah.
If you had them right there, that would be great, Melissa.
Okay, I'll make sure I have them up.
Couldn't we just make a footnote and say these towns were included because they were similar to, I
Mhm.
don't think everything has
But
to be. a
even-
number.
Even within those towns, they vary from like 350 to 3,500 or more. I think, is Orange in there? No,
No, are they Franklin County?
yeah. Orange
Oh, I
is,
guess, I don't know if they were in the survey.
I'm just wondering if you put the numbers in there, are people gonna start dissecting that and being like, oh, this is 3,500 more than us, or couldn't you just have a footnote saying these towns were used for comparison because they were the closest to Shutesbury?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me just look real quick. I don't recall seeing orange on any of these. Oh yeah, orange is here. I guess, yeah, I forgot. All
Oh,
right.
no information provided for FY '22.
Oh, is that what it was?
What
Yeah,
it is.
Well, even if it was, what's the population of Orange?
it's like 8,500. It's under 10,000, but it's much larger than we are.
Okay, so where would I put this footnote? Okay.
Maybe off to the side, maybe. I'm trying to scroll my screen like as if it's mine.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is, let me try this first. Put it in the very top and excluding, I'll put an excluding at the end of it. Excludes.
Montague and Orange.
And I think everybody will understand and agree. Nobody will
Yeah.
question that, right?
Right.
They might question what some of my fancy my colors are, but you know, I'll answer those on the fly.
Someone asked what the population of Orange, it's 7,569.
Yeah, I guess 8,500.
So you think this is looking better now?
I think it looks really good.
It's perfect.
Okay, we're going with it then. And I'll present, but somebody else has to talk.
Okay, we'll talk it through.
Numbers are not my forte, so I am not going to be talking. I'll contribute.
Mhm.
I say I won't talk, but you know me, I'll be talking.
George,
Police
you're the
chief,
only one that can walk everyone through that spreadsheet really well.
yeah, right. I will definitely do the explanations of what each thing is. That's a good point. I certainly am comfortable with that.
Maybe if Melissa, April, or Melody would talk through the talking point part.
Okay,
Now the police chief, is the police chief appropriate to have here? And it clearly is. Well, it's not clearly actually. Why do we have the police chief here?
oh no, there's no other contracted ones there.
Well, yeah, we took out the town administrator.
Oh wait, well no, the fire chief is there
Oh, and I should
and highway
oh, yeah, right,
administrator.
right. But not on our main list because
Right.
it's not an increase.
So what the police chief read is an increase over Dan's old salary line. Is that what it's based on? I think it is.
I guess because when I look at the average for the local, it's not that far off,
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it belongs there.
Mm.
especially because it'll be negotiated if we pursue, keeping our police department.
Times 2,080. So that's 66,000. I think it's worth having there just to have a sense of what the average is in.
Well, the only thing I would say is why are we
Towns?
proposing 3324 when the average is 3198?
How did it get to 3324?
I'm not
It was
sure.
probably,
Oh,
it was
you-
probably the last couple of years of COLA on the line, maybe.
Yep.
Because when Tom was there, it was up to, yeah, it was over 70.
And then with Dan, it was down to 60 or something like that.
Yeah, he started at just about 60.
Is it true that if we are going to have a police chief, that the rate is going to be negotiated?
Mhm.
It's a contracted
It will be-
position.
But we will look at these numbers.
But, what we're proposing tomorrow is changes we want made to the 23 budget.
Correct. And we don't know that. So probably should eliminate it, like you said.
And there's no other contracted positions on that list that we
No,
have.
that we have the town administrator. Is that
Do we?
still listed?
No, she's not on here. We didn't
Okay,
include it for that very reason. We
Okay.
have the clerk.
So then keep the contracted ones off this list for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
there's
and
only,
the proposed brings it in at 69,000.
so something, let me double check now.
Just quite a bit higher than the town administrator's current rate, but we'll be right after next year.
Okay, so I have to change these numbers. Bear with me. I didn't have formulas. I should have had formulas. I'm just going back into it. So now, oops,
Don't forget the accountant there.
I heard that before. Proposed. So this is our new total. This is our new grand total. And if I take the COLAs out, the increase is 24,770.
And then with the COLA is,
The difference.
okay, okay. So it's a few $1,000s less.
Yeah, except that,
Wait, something's wrong. No, it's
I
right.
know, because that was the same number as before.
Mm,
That was the same number as before, right, Becky?
The 3214?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was.
I thought it was too.
It was.
It is,
Oh, you know why?
because you never had a COLA for the chief?
Yeah, I
That
must
had
not
to be-
have.
Yeah, that had to be. one.
See, you knew it wasn't going to be in there, George.
That's weird. Where's the police chief? No, I did. Something, I'm really confused at this very moment. I've got to double check all these numbers. If I take the COLA out, the increase is 24,770. If I put the COLA back in, the increase is 27,984.
But
And it's
why
doing-
is the COLA the same with the police chief and without the police chief?
The police chief might not have been in the formula. No, it changed.
So the budget increase before was 32,353. Without the COLA, it was 29,139.
It is still 3214.
I know. Let me double check that math.
Maybe it's the formula for the 3214.
Yeah, it could be. There, well, there's not a formula. The 3215 I plugged. I basically took the annual budget. Here, I just took the budget increase. Oh, now I'm all over the place. Shoot. So there's the budget increase. And when I take the COLA out, it lowers. When I put it back in, it's higher.
Weird, strange.
I'm going to figure it out. I'm sorry I'm wasting our time, though.
This is
No, it's
fascinating.
your
It's not
time.
wasting time.
It's sort of mind-boggling, actually. It's weird, it's strange.
Oh, because look at my formula
Where's your formula? I can't see.
right
it.
here.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
What?
You added the 24 instead
Yeah,
of,
I wasn't adding these across. These guys were added across. These down here aren't because I didn't go take my formula far enough down. I thought I had, but I hadn't.
Oh, okay.
So now these are the positions that what we're proposing. Okay, now it's gonna work. So our total proposal is, I'm gonna drop the chief. And then, see now I'm. So our grand total is now 27,984.
Mhm.
When I take the COLA out, it goes to 21,925.
I'm not seeing that. Okay, so this is removing the police chief.
Something's not right, though. Give me a second
Right,
here.
because the difference between the,
It's gonna be much larger.
right, the difference between 27,984 and 21 is 6,000.
I know.
It's the calculation of the COLA's got to be wrong.
I'll check it again then. Okay, so again, that's our increase. Take the COLA out. And these numbers are all right.
When you take the COLA out, you have 1871. No, that number changed
No.
yet.
Still 32.
I'm sorry. When I take the COLA out, just see this number here, 27,984?
Yeah,
That's the sum of these. When I take the COLA out, it becomes 21,925.
925, and the difference is
Ah,
6,059.
6,000 even?
$6,059.02 is what I
Oh.
got.
Thank you. Okay, so let's look at this.
Okay,
So
well, that makes sense because isn't that about 4% of the 21,000? No, is that?
So here, let me try this. I'm going to save my spreadsheet.
Okay,
I'm going to convert these to dollars and not formulas. I'm going to drop the proposed amount.
is that what you were hoping for?
No, that's not what I was hoping for.
Me
Um,
So,
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. See, that's the way to do it, is to plug the number. Why was it 32? See, I'm going to have to undo all the way back to where we were. Let me try it again.
Okay.
I'm sorry about
I'll be
this.
sorry. No,
No,
this
you're
this is
fine.
where we're meeting.
We appreciate what you've done
Yeah. I don't speak.
up to now.
Okay, so, all right. So before, when we did this, we get, without the COLA, 24,674. Okay, 24,674.
It just went back to 29. Is that okay? Oh, okay.
And the grand total is 32,353,
yes.
which means we had the wrong, 32 was never right.
So
Wow.
it's right now, though.
That's what we did wrong.
The COLA wasn't enough.
So I dropped the chief.
Yeah, because the COLA, it's usually about 7,000. It's usually about 6,000 for each percentage.
Okay, that's good. All right, so 21,925. And there we are. 27,985 27,984, excuse me, and these two things make it up.
Okay.
That's the reality. And I want to fix
Good
the
job.
treasurer.
Don't forget to save it.
Yes, ma'am. That was
How many
always one of
times
my,
have you done that?
oh, I always save. That's one thing I've definitely learned the hard way back in the day. Position under contract, we don't need this footnote. Do we need the footnote about the treasurer? Recently increased his hours.
No,
No. Mm-mm.
And then this is the FY '22 budget.
And
Maybe I'll make it total budget.
and 21 is a heck of a lot better number. Oh, now we can compare the 21,925 to the 39,000.
yes, that's a better comparison.
Say that again, Becky. What?
Now we can compare the 21,000 to the 39,000, showing that we didn't take, we're taking a conservative approach to try to,
Mhm.
the
That number,
employee,
by the way, is now 37,785.
that's still,
That's significant. But this does make the COLA addition more significant. It's twice what we had originally thought.
We're still getting a pretty good bargain, right?
Yes, we're getting a very good bargain. Over $6.5 million budget. And who,
Yeah, it comes out to less than 0.5%.
and who keeps the town running?
Exactly.
Boy, you guys, we don't sound like the personnel board at my company where I used to work. I'll tell you that.
We
do
don't.
they still exist? No, I'm only kidding. I
My
know
boss used to say they're neither human or a resource.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Well, and the irony is that we are helping to fund this increase. Where in a company, the personnel board does not, or HR does not.
Right.
Right.
Technically, you're right, April. Where it's an employee owned. Shutesbury is an employee owned, resident owned company.
That's right. That's right. We're paying for it.
I like that. That's a good, I never thought of it that way.
You have the
You know.
employee owned companies, right? Like Red Mill is employee owned, and there's a couple others. Can't think of them off the top of my head. But Shutesbury is a resident owned company.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, so this is the market alignment for the resident-owned town.
Company of Shutesbury. Sounds like an accounting worksheet, work problem or something in accounting class.
Okay, you speak accounting. It seems like Melody, you speak accounting. I don't.
I pretend to.
I don't
That is
either.
the translation.
You're
I speak-
catching on.
I speak
You know
French
more
and
than you think
Spanish.
you do.
I don't speak accounting.
Okay, anything else we need for this?
No, it looks great.
I think it looks good too.
I do too.
I'm impressed with us.
Nice
George.
work. Thank you, George.
You're welcome. I miss doing this. I miss it a little.
We
Oh,
have to
God.
vote to accept this for a presentation, or
That would be great.
I move we vote, I move we accept this.
All those in favor?
I'll second it first. Okay.
One second, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All in favor?
Arvinette is aye.
Ross,
Thank
aye.
you. Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stein, aye.
You have
Einstein.
plastic ones in the other room.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna make a separate spreadsheet out of this, of just this page, and I'm gonna email it to everybody tonight.
Thank
Feel
you.
free to send me any suggestions or ideas. I'm happy if they're not major. Like if you see a misspell or something, let me know.
Okay.
George? Oh,
Yes.
never mind. I just, I was misaligning a line, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, some of these headings aren't quite right. This increase here is really in this cell, but everything else I think looks good.
What about
Yeah.
under
Math is-
collector under position says some combined with? Oh,
You're right. I should get rid of this one too. Well, actually, some of these are include assistants. Right. Some of them use a different term, but I use the numbers anyways in the survey.
Mhm.
That's what that means. I don't know how you.
I think that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good this way. Yeah, and this is not bad.
No,
For everybody's information, or at least for those of you who have been attending finance committee meetings, the regional school budget line is going to be decreased by $60,000.
wow.
I don't know if we want to compare this to that or if we want to make reference to that, but certainly it makes this
Well,
not a
maybe
bad.
tangentially that it's, that there are some cost savings reflected in the total budget.
So that we can absorb this.
Yes.
Right.
The only argument would be, but this carries over year. So when you increase everybody by this amount, you're increasing all future budgets by this amount.
That's true.
That,
Mm.
just
Well-
be aware of it.
It is what it is. And some people will object and we'll have a lively conversation.
Yes.
And then we'll all vote, hopefully pass it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll, yeah. I agree.
So we should vote on this before we move on to the next thing. Because there's a motion we first did and seconded.
Yeah,
no, we
so
did.
I just one thing here, increases to budget, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
So I thought we just voted on this.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Short-term memory's gone. It was fun while I had it.
Too much
they
skiing.
told me it was fun while I had it, but I don't remember.
I don't remember.
So this is good. So is there, let's see, on our agenda,
The only other thing was April and I just wanted to give you an update on what our work on the classification schedule.
Hmm.
Oh, the fire chief job description.
Yes, that one's yes, we got to get that done.
and also, yeah, and also the municipal light plant manager, the increase.
Right.
We need to talk about that too, or we could talk about that. Are we meeting next Thursday, a week from this Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the 10th.
So maybe we should move this till then, the manager for the municipal light plant, MLP.
Yeah.
Or we could talk about it tonight.
Oh, I'm happy to talk about it tonight. I would like to. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out how to unshare the screen, and the problem is the pane.
Bottom
that
of the
shows-
screen, maybe?
Yeah. I can't get to full screen. I'm trying to go to full screen and I can't get the full screen, so I'm not seeing all the. I might have to drop off and just rejoin. Oh, there it is. It's up
I
top.
think
I'm
Becky-
sorry. I
Yeah,
found
it's-
it.
Here we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I was looking in the wrong place.
Here we are.
Okay, so the fire chief, Becky, you said?
Yeah, we have April, do you have what we need to do there? Do you have?
I think there's really the fire chief study committee really went over in detail the current chief's job description. And it seemed like the one place that we needed to make a change was to make it stated clearly that the residency requirement needed to be within X number of minutes from the town to reflect what it is in the police chiefs. And I don't think the current fire chief does not state that. It says it in the contract, but not in the job description. And we need that to be the same.
But what the contract says is residency is required. It doesn't give that option of being 35 minutes out of town.
And the thinking is that it be the same as the police chief.
Yeah.
And it's from the edge of town to the edge of town. It's not to the fire department. I think that was part of the discussion. Because the chief wouldn't necessarily have to go right to the fire department if there was an active fire, would meet, could go to the fire. So that's a small change that needs to be made to the current job description of the fire chief. And once we've approved that, then we can give that to the select board, and then they can go ahead and start advertising for the position. God willing, we will find somebody.
So what do you guys think of that concept that to add the same residency requirement that we currently have for the police chief to the fire chief's job description, which currently is silent on the subject?
That's well said.
It's currently silent on the subject. I
Who's
thought it's-
currently silent on the subject?
Fire chief job description does not talk about
Okay.
a residency requirement, but two of the earlier, a number of the contracts, I haven't gone through all of them, but Walter's contracts have always included the residency requirement, but they were specific to Walter.
Right.
Gotcha. Wow. Looks like my computer's gonna run out of power. I'll be right back. I guess 35 minutes, that's a good question, April, about whether or not do they report to the fire? I mean, you can't predict that, 35 minutes. So 35 minutes from the border of town, good question.
Mhm.
And I
the
think
police-
in,
The police chief is 35 minutes, correct?
Yes. And we would like to have it be the same as what's in the police chief's job
I-
description.
I do have a question. I have a question about the police chief, which is sort of relevant to this. If that police chief, our police chief is 35 minutes from town, is that included on the hours during the day that she is, or that the police chief is, what, full-time, it's 8 to 11 or something like that? What are the police chief's hours here in town?
40.
7 to 3.
Oh,
Currently.
7 to 3. Where did I see that? Okay, 7 to 3.
Talking 8 to 11 is 2 shifts, 16 hours a day of police coverage.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was getting that mixed up then. So
And I
the
think
30
it's
the
6 to
35 minutes
7 to 11.
is the police chief actually in town? For what, you said 7 to
3.
3. So the police chief is physically in town 7 to 3, but lives 35 minutes away. Okay.
She's actually more like 30.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering about that. Okay, back to the fire chief.
Well, and it's a similar, you want somebody to be as close as possible.
Right.
But you're also assuming that the chief will be working with the current staff to make sure there is coverage. And it would really narrow our ability to find a police or fire chief if they had to live here. That
For sure.
And if we think, oh, Peg just dropped off. If we think currently, we know there's only a couple of houses for sale. Everything else has been sold. So if,
right.
there's not many choices to have a resident chief in town
Yeah.
if they need to move here.
And I think it's part of it. I mean, it's our current fire chief has been involved with the fire department since he was 16 in different capacities. So it's a big shift for the town to imagine that. But I think it's responsible on the job description to have some kind of a limit. And I think a half an hour, 35-minute limit is reasonable. And the committee all agreed to that.
And that's also 35 minutes without a siren and a light going, right? That's just a daily commute.
Right.
So
And
it's
it's
shortened.
measured-
It's shortened when there's an emergency,
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind.
And I think I'll pull it up, but it's what you see on Google Maps. So if you look at it's whatever comes up on Google Maps.
That's the
It's not-
standard.
Yeah,
That's what we use to measure the standard.
right.
Like,
Based on the fire chief's job description, how important is it that a fire chief be on scene for emergencies?
you
Well,
know,
currently, the fire chief goes direct to the fire station and is frequently the first and sometimes the only one there for a short.
Understood. I do understand that because of the unique role that Walter plays, anyways, being in town. But I think of a chief, I think of administrator in a lot of cases, not necessarily somebody who needs to be in charge at a scene. You got captains, right? You got lieutenants.
technically, we
Lieutenants.
have the job descriptions.
And we have a job description for a deputy, and the thought would be potentially, that's what, Walter's the one who brought it up. He's very concerned that we aren't going to find anybody within town. So he's trying to make sure there's, you don't want somebody coming in from, Boston, but you want somebody, you
Right.
want more flexibility.
We don't want someone commuting from Mendon.
So
For
if
this
Walter,
position.
if Walter's Mendon, good example. So if Walter says that, Walter would know if there was somebody in town. So clearly there's not.
Right, he's been looking.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Yes. And so this is, I think the assumption is a new fire chief, there'll be different, training levels, or there will be other people appointed. We probably would have a deputy chief, and we do have that as a job description. We just haven't had anybody in that position. I think we have one lieutenant. Is that true?
No,
Right
we
now?
have 2 lieutenants, and we did have a deputy chief for about 6 months, about 8 years ago, who was highly qualified, but he didn't stay with the job.
And so it's like, I think the vision is that we're hiring a new person into a position that has been really claimed by somebody in this town for many, many years. And assuming that this person will come in and run the fire department, it'll be different. That's just the fact. We're not going to have somebody living a few miles from the fire department. It'll be an adjustment.
Yeah, it will be an adjustment. It's complicated because not only is he the chief, but because he's in town, he's always, especially when people are working in the middle of the day, he is the person who's right here. But, in the middle of the day, well, that's true 24/7, actually. Because in the middle of the day, the chief probably will be here. It's going to be those late night
Mhm.
emergencies.
But it's worked with our chiefs for at least three or four of them, right? Where they were a distance away, but things were handled. Police chief anyway.
Yes.
We've been lucky to have a successor that lived in town on the fire department for many, many, many years. Walter and as
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Thanks, Fran.
so the police chief job description says must reside or relocate within 35 minutes of the Shutesbury Town Hall within 9 months.
So the town, well, that's because that's where the police station is the town hall.
Right.
So I guess you could use the fire department in that case, the firehouse.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we want to be consistent too, don't we?
Right. Though Walter did say that, if there was, as this department adjusts to the change, that other people could potentially be getting the fire, at the fire station, and the chief could meet them at the fire or not. Is Peg trying to get in?
Oh my goodness, I'm not letting her. Sorry. I was looking for the job description.
Peg has it.
Sorry.
There you
Sorry,
are.
Peg. Oh, we,
Okay, sorry, I lost power and I had to find my cord. Sorry
Great.
about,
All powered up.
so what happened while I was gone?
Well, so the question really, it's building into the fire chief's job description, the requirement, which as Becky pulled up the police chief, that they have to live within a 35-minute commute from town hall, which is where the police department is, or move to a place within 9 months after being hired to move within that range. If that makes sense.
Do we always say 35 minutes or can we say number of miles? Does that make more sense to say number of miles or not?
No, because we used to
Distance.
say number of miles as the crow flies. Because the standard with Google Maps and everything, it's easiest just to go on Google Maps and put in 2 pinpoint addresses. That's why they changed to 35. And the objective is to keep them the same, not to change them.
So the point of this is if we disqualify an applicant, we need to have this in writing. If somebody's in Springfield and they want to do it, if we didn't have this in our policy, they could claim that we weren't.
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
Very
So
true.
this would, yeah, and it's very clear that they would have to move within 9
Well,
months.
it makes sense if the police chief, and is this all written for the police chief job description that they need to live within 35 minutes? That's
Yeah,
in the job
In
description.
the job description currently, that was approved in 2018.
So it makes sense to me to have the fire chief have this in his job description as well.
Yes.
35 minutes.
Yeah.
Be consistent. And, as we just talked about, or as April had mentioned, there will be our fire crew will be here as well.
Yeah.
Do we know, or can I ask this? Are there any current members of the fire department that are interested? Or I can't ask that?
No, there aren't any. We've been asking.
Okay.
There may be some people who are interested in a deputy position, I understand. Is that true?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe.
Can I ask how the police chief number came to be 35 miles?
It's 35 minutes.
Oh, sorry, 35 minutes, sorry. How was that determined?
I'm
The
not
shortest
sure.
road, the shortest route, Google? I don't know.
No,
I know it used to be 30 minutes and it was pushed out to 35 in the last campaign to be able to accept more of the candidates that were applying.
Okay. But I mean,
Well,
it's not based on anybody's current situation, right?
Correct.
fire chief,
I think Dan, our last police chief, was at 35 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I
He
just
was
don't
at
have.
34, I think.
And, it can be a little loose. We don't have to get in a car and drive it to see for a specific person. It can be fairly loose. We just want some kind of a range.
Mhm.
I mean, if they live in Wilbraham, we could probably say, okay, that's 35 minutes. If they live on the Connecticut line, we could say it's not, just roughly.
Mhm. And I think the Google Maps gives a little bit more information.
And as you noted, when I read it, it did not, although that was part of the discussion when it was written, it's not written in the police job description as determined by Google Maps.
Right.
But it could be. I mean, the recommendation could be to amend it for the police department.
I
But
think
I
you're
think
right.
it's,
But I'm sorry, Becky.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, when the time comes, we'll just use whatever method we decide to use. I don't
Yeah.
think we should necessarily say using Google because Google could be, I don't know, obsolete, or
Right.
we could just leave it, we'll figure it out when the time comes, if it has to be done. I wouldn't worry too much about exactly, documenting a specific way we have to measure it. That's my opinion.
Well, if you wanted to have something in there, but not necessarily Google, you could say according to an online mapping website or something of that
Or
nature.
as agreed upon with the select board. Something. Actually, there was another thing is that separate from this is I'm looking at the recommendations again, is the Franklin County Fire Chiefs, we required the person to join the Franklin County Fire Chiefs Association. That was another recommendation.
I really,
Does that not need to be in the job description?
I think that's more of like professional groups. I think professional groups people usually select or learn about. Is that the retired one? I mean, is that recommendation the Franklin County's fire chiefs, or was it the tutorial? That program of mentorship.
The mentoring, we strongly recommend that the job description include having the chief join the Western Mass Fire Chiefs mentoring program.
I think I think Walter went farther in his recommendations for his job description to really list every detail of operational stuff. And I don't think job descriptions are the place for that.
I think you're right. If any professional person, yeah. But this is one that is required, that the person be within 35 minutes
Right.
from, the border of their town to the fire department.
Okay, so is everybody agreed, or does somebody still have a question about adding that to the fire department job description? Are you ready to recommend it to the select board or still in process?
So I can move that the personnel board add to the current fire chief's job description the requirement that the chief live within 35 miles. I'm not sure how it's stated in the
Here, I'll just read it for you again. Number
Yes.
9. Okay. Must reside or relocate within 35 minutes of the Shutesbury, in the fire chief case, I'll say Shutesbury Fire Station within 9 months.
and I will move that.
I will second that.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question? Why is it 9 months? In today's real estate market, even rental markets, why 9 months and not a year?
Not sure.
Sorry.
I'm not sure how that was decided in for the police chief.
I think there was an argument between 6 months and a year, and they compromised.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Oh, no, don't be sorry. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good
Good
question.
point, actually. Just talking to somebody today who can't locate a house, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So the policy is personnel board recommends requiring living within 35 minutes and
Here, let me give you the exact phrase, George, or I can email it to you. Must reside or relocate
to
within
within,
35 minutes of the Shutesbury Fire Station
okay, I got it.
within
you.
9 months.
Okay, all those in favor of,
Arvanitis, aye.
okay, Ross, aye.
Right here, I.
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, I.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay.
I will add that and have it ready for the select board.
All right. Any other business tonight?
I think George wanted to talk about the MLP manager.
Yeah, the finance committee
Yeah,
met,
we decided to do that tonight. Okay, go.
well, I don't know if you need me to lead on it, but finance committee met with the municipal lights department last week, and the budget they presented is lower than the previous year's budget. It included the increased salary that they have asked us, I believe they're asking us
Just to approve,
to approve.
yeah.
And they are telling us that they're going to be lowering the rates to the consumers because their costs are lower. So to me, I'm not even sure why I guess the personnel board has to, because we oversee all personnel board matters in town. But this is this is a separate entity. It's an enterprise entity.
Right.
So if their numbers are working for them and they don't have to increase rates, I don't see any reason to object to it. And their argument.
Don't either. I felt the same way.
Does there need to be a new job description?
Okay, so this position has a job description that includes number of hours. It does fall under, although it's an enterprise, the job description was created through and approved by the Personnel Board and Select Board. I think the MLP can, I know it's a separate entity, but at the same time, I think it's good. They've asked for it to be reviewed by the Personnel Board. And I think it's worth considering because I think it should be discussed.
Mhm.
Well, I support it for the reasons I already stated.
I agree with you, George. I did go over, they really put forth in what they sent us, a really good explanation and description of what she does, what the manager does. And also, like George said, the requested pay increase, we expect to be lowering the month, even with the respected pay increase, they expect to be lowering the monthly subscriber rates because the short-term band debt has been paid off early. So they're saying that our rates will be lower. And it's included in their budget. I don't know what would be any reason to oppose the increase.
I guess the reason I would like this looked at is if you look at it it's an anomaly position. But I think, what does it come out to per hour, George?
Let me find the proposal.
So they're pretty much doubling the per hour rate.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think she's going from like 24 hours or 20 hours a month to 23 hours a month.
The salary request is from 12,600 to 24,000.
Right.
And I'm looking for, she has been spending an average of 28 hours a month as in her role as MLP manager. With the added financial responsibilities, this will increase to about, this is the only question I did have, 30 to 35 hours a month. So they're saying her current hours are 28. She will be going to 30 to 35.
so she's making $12.60 for 28 hours a week. They're saying go,
12,600.
right, I'm sorry, right,
And it's-
12,600 annual at 28 hours,
Per month.
okay, per month.
So it's
Thank you.
it's 7 hours a week.
Got it, okay, that makes sense. And they're talking about increasing it to 35 hours per month.
It's a
Between
range.
30
It's
and
30 to 35. What
So
Steve told me it was going to be an increase about 4 hours a week.
So I'll use 32 then, from 28 to 32.
So 11 hours a week. And what does that come out as a,
No, it can't be 11 hours a week because it's
No,
4
it's-
hours added a month.
Right,
Oh.
it's an hour a week.
hours a month?
It's an hour a week.
And they say, in the description of the request, they say this position has been undercompensated since its inception in regards to both the time required and the level of responsibility. The increase represents a correction of the underpayment as well as the addition of more tasks for the position that will commence at the beginning of the next fiscal year. So
Can
I
I
think,
take this, can I
yeah,
take the screen and I'll show you the calculation and you guys?
Yeah.
you can-
It's unfortunate that we can't look at that in the context of others. I know this is a separate entity within the town, but how this compares to what other people earn.
So if it's $24,000 a year going up from 1260 and it's
Yeah.
32 hours a month going up from 28, it's 384 hours a year versus 336 hours a year. Hourly rate goes to 62.50 from 37.50.
Wow.
So there's a big increase.
Yes. Wow.
But no, let's put our market alignment caps on because to outsource this, they indicate is $36,000 a year.
But they're not, what they would have outsourced to was Holyoke Gas and Electric, not just an individual.
will this salary always be contained within the MLP?
Yes,
Or will it ever fall to the town
No.
directly?
only if they default. So unlikely. I just wanted people aware of the numbers because if we tried to build that into any of our charts, we couldn't.
Right.
That's $130,000 a year on a full-time basis.
Wow. Wow.
And the other
Um,
comparable that's been used is Margie McGinnis, who is the MLP manager in Leverett, who I think made an extra $6,000 a year or something.
What do you mean, an extra 6,000 in relationship to?
She's the town administrator in
Yeah.
Leverett, so in addition to her salary. So I'm just pointing out that I have no trouble with this, but if this was, subject to more scrutiny, I just want the personnel board aware of it.
And
I think it's I think it's just such a specialized thing too for us that it's kind of an anomaly if you try to add it into all those other positions slightly because it's being paid
Definitely an
by
anomaly.
something other than taxpayer, directly from our budget anyway.
I'm just pointing out some other towns have solved it within the employees that they already have and others haven't. So I'm just,
I understand.
I just appreciate the discussion and I appreciate that Gail is one, she is not just coming from the outside. She's been invaluable in this process.
She has, she really has. You're right.
Yeah, but what if she leaves and we have to replace her?
exactly. And how does this, if we were to do a job classification on her job relative to other jobs, where does it, is this a step, it's a dangerous precedent to have this so unique,
So large.
so large.
I
I
don't think it is at this point. And I think it'll be instrumental in keeping her here.
I'm sure that's true. And
It's just, we have to be careful, and that's why I want it really identified that she is still under 20 hours. Because if, at one point the position was benefited,
right.
and
I
at this
remember
point
that's-
she's asking for the money and not the benefits.
Right. Because that's how it first started. She wanted to have a benefited position.
Yeah.
Paid at a relatively low rate. And so now it's paid at a
Oh,
higher rate.
actually, the rate wasn't, it was still, the rate was at the
Was it 12?
37.50.
Okay, which is not low.
So you're saying that now it is not benefited currently?
Correct. To get benefits, well, that's the other thing. So we had to, it wasn't 37.50 because we had to work it out. It was basically minimum wage to get the benefits because we had to back into 20 hours a week.
Mhm.
So do we need to make a formal note about this, or just note that we've discussed this?
I think
Oh.
they're looking for, support going into, and we need to make an adjustment on the total number of hours to 30 to 35 for her job description.
Becky, do we have a Benny's rate that we apply to salaries to determine what an employee costs? 25%, 30%?
I don't think it's that high. I haven't calculated in a while. I think it used to be closer to 10%.
Don't do it. Make the treasurer do it. Treasurer can make that calculation. Yeah, you got the retirement contribution piece. You've got, or does this town make I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If in private business, you got FICA, right? You got Social Security tax, you've got unemployment tax. We know what we pay for health insurances and those things. And for where I worked, we were using 28%. So 1260 was plus 28%, add a quarter to it. It'd be more like, just add 4,000 to it. Let's just call it 16.6 or even 17.
Okay. No, I'll ask the treasurer to do that.
We don't necessarily need that for this decision, but that's the kind of thing that would help us in these situations, because then the increase doesn't look so great. And for me, that helps justify this big increase, is the fact that we won't be paying that additional amount
Right.
of money.
Definitely. I think that's a really good point, and I think that makes it really clear that the town is benefiting greatly and the employee can be further compensated. And it's mutually beneficial.
Right.
I just wanted to have the discussion because if other people do the math, you want to be able to answer.
Yes.
The benefits are an important point to bring up.
Well, and in some ways, this position, started, it was really not clear how this would unfold, I think. And
Right.
it's
And she's just been trying to get a fair shake because she invested, it was closer to minimum wage when she was going through the build and stuff. So
absolutely.
She was in that weird ground too, where she was volunteering and working.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yep, that was, yep. And it's unique.
definitely is.
Mm.
Well, great. Thank you for the discussion. And I think what they're looking for is a vote of support by the personnel board for the increase.
Okay.
Okay, all those who are in favor of supporting the increase in the MLP manager's salary. I make a motion. That we support the increase in the manager's salary of the MLP from 12,600 to 24,000, effective in fiscal 23.
As well as the increase in hours.
Yes, and as well as the increase in hours from 30 to 35 hours a month.
And I'll second that.
So
Okay.
this was a benefited position and it no longer is. Why is that?
Well, it was only benefited during the construction year when it was closer to 20 hours a week. It was 20 plus hours a week sometimes.
Okay, so higher hours during construction.
So can you read that back to us, George?
So what I just wrote was, I was just making notes about this conversation. This was a benefited position due to higher hours during construction and no longer is. Just so that that's in the minutes.
Okay,
Shows
So-
that it was a part of our logic.
okay. So all those in favor?
Aroundis, aye.
O'Tear, aye.
Ross, aye.
Make peace O'Neill, aye.
Stein, eye.
I just also want to take a moment to just realize that in all of this inflation going on and prices going up, that internet prices are going to come down for Shutesbury
Yes,
in some way,
Yes.
yes.
Wow.
Say
right?
that again,
Like
please.
I said, with all the inflation going on and now the prices going up in Shutesbury, our internet's going to come down,
Yes.
Well, and
I don't
the
think it's going to
supply,
offset gas.
right? But just to acknowledge that,
yes,
you
and the
know?
supply chain has not been disrupted in our
Correct.
internet. We really have a really good system.
yeah.
It's
So I
awesome.
just want to take a moment to acknowledge that.
And there's going to be some market alignment of the MLP manager's salary.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Becky.
I'm
Very
glad
well
we don't have to include that in the numbers we're providing tomorrow.
Yeah.
That'd be a big jump.
Yeah.
So may I ask, before we leave, Becky did the select board, I guess, I can ask Melissa, when is the annual town meeting going to be?
The 21st of May. Becky, did you get confirmation from Paul about that? Okay.
And he's going to be at the meeting tomorong.
Okay.
I
So we had
realized
set
right
it and,
after
you
the
know,
meeting, we hadn't asked Paul, and I was like, oh
couldn't
my
ask the
God,
moderator if he could come.
the
So I
biggest
have a question.
person.
So we're meeting tomorrow night at 6, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then are we meeting the following week on a Thursday?
Yes, the
And
10th.
what is on our agenda for that?
The classification stuff and any other job descriptions and PAFs we need
Okay.
to go through.
And can that be at 6:30 again rather than 6?
Yes.
It is 6:30.
Is that,
Yep.
does 6:30 work for people?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes. Are we going to meet in April? Can we pick the April date?
what, George?
Can we pick some future dates beyond March?
Okay, I gotta get my book. I'll be right back.
I'm just thinking we can get them in the minutes. That way we
Yeah.
won't be confused. One thing about this committee, finding a time when we can all meet is a real challenge for this committee.
I appreciate all your flexibility, guys.
Although I'll say there's no speeding cars involved in this one.
No, what? Speeding
Speeding
cars?
cars. Other meetings, if I'm remote, it's easier. And if I'm not, it's so, you know, leaving Amherst and getting it home.
Yeah,
We get
We don't
it.
want to make you rush.
Well, thank you, George,
So,
but it would be okay.
so we are
Okay.
meeting on Thursday, the 10th, March 10th
Yep.
at 6:30.
Mhm.
And then. let's look
April
at-
21st?
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we?
Work.
Put that.
Yeah, third Thursday.
That would work. So
Okay.
for the, 10th, I may not be able to come. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico that day.
On the 10th.
I know, but I'm going to be up in the mountains. I'm not sure if we have internet. I'm just saying, we'll see.
So shall we go, does it go for everybody else with the 21st? Melody, does that work for you?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, it's March 10th that may not work for me, but yeah,
Okay.
How
And
long are
you're
you gone
gone?
for, April?
2.5 weeks.
Oh, so we can't move it back a week.
No, well, I will be on VA case. I'll have more accessibility
When?
the following week, the 17th, I will.
All right, just write that down in case. So what day do you get to the mountains?
on the 9th, and we come out of the mountains around, I think it's the 13th. And then
Mountains?
be on VA case for a couple of weeks.
Mountains?
Yes,
you going?
the center, no, we're exploring the center of Puerto Rico. I've never
Oh, I
been-
see.
No, we're not mountain climbing.
Oh, so you're going to the national park in Puerto Rico on the main island?
It's, no, not the national park, but it's just on the spine of the island, in the coffee plantation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It is
That's
really
very
cool.
cool.
I can't believe we're doing this, but we are.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Retirement.
Retirement is wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have March 1st, March 10th, and March 21st. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock. The other
April
two, 6:30.
21st.
April 21st at 6:30.
All right. I'm about to run out of battery now too.
Okay.
So my only
Thank
other
you,
question is, did we answer the question about, did we hire the police officer? Are we going to? Do we know where we are on that? Tara
Um,
Dempsey?
He will be on the 15th. It'll come before the select board.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
looking good, though.
Oh, my God, she was
Fabulous.
great.
She was
Yes.
fabulous.
She was.
Her parents should be proud.
Her father doesn't want her doing it.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
What
I
parent,
don't
what
either.
parent does, George? What parent does?
No,
Okay.
I worry about my kids and they don't do anything nearly as dangerous.
Right. They surprise you. Okay, so we'll
Yes.
see everybody tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Be
Thank you.
there or be square.
Yeah,
right.
be ready to sell.
I think we'll all be in a square.
This is what was the show? Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood
Yeah.
Square.
Hollywood Squares.
This is Shutesbury Squares.
Not yet.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Quick
Just
question.
Good night, too.
Nice work.
Bye.